Well, hello! It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks I've been using throughout the week. So let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I'd invite you to subscribe. And hey, you ever avoid something because, something better might come along? We're going to talk about it at the end of this. And I'm just going to mention weather a little bit at the end of this too. So let's look at some pens. Alright, so these are the pens and inks I've been using this week from left to right. I have a Parker 25. A lot of channels have been talking about this pen recently, so it inspired me to get mine out. Toes Penkala Mirna. Cleo Skribent, my vintage one. Conklin Word Gauge. Geha Champion. Sailor 1911 Small or Standard. I can't remember what the S stands for, and I don't care. Platinum Mini. And a Platinum Curidas. As always, I will be presenting this in my it's right side up, my Cognitive Surplus Theory notebook. So my first pen, let me just put some glasses on because I can't really see what I'm looking at here. Oh yeah, much better. Okay, so my first pen is this Parker 25. We're getting a little bit of wear and tear here, but come on. It was branded for a Finnish bank. And of course we have Parker. More Parker, and yeah. And then a very dirty finial. And we have kind of a fun little nib. So this has been my daily writer pen. I am in the process of using up a bottle of Omas Black. Getting very close now. This pen was kind of nice to use as a daily writer. It's a slip cap. It writes very well, and it is a nice, comfortable pen. Not one of those pens I'm going to rave about. It's a little strange looking, probably also, but on the whole, I've been quite pleased using it. I don't think it's quite time for it to be a survivor pen. I don't think I've owned it long enough, but, we're heading in that direction. My next pen is this very attractive Toes Penkala Mirna. And we get all kinds of, with this brand, we get all kinds of interesting branding because they've changed their names several times. Under the Iron Curtain and then selling to the Western market and all that business. I do think, if we can get a good close-up here, maybe, there we go. I do find the finish quite attractive. Just all in all, kind of a nice pen. The nib, not one of my best nibs. Not a bad nib, just not one of my best. So Toes Penkala Mirna. So this is a slender pen. I'm not sure what it is about the nib I don't like. It's just there's something about it that feels off. So the ink in is Herbin. Lidete. Something over here is rattling, and I don't like it. I think I fixed it. Whatever it was. Every single time I would write, it would rattle. I stopped it. So this pen needs a little bit of pressure to write correctly. Not a super big fan of that, but on the whole, nice pen. My next pen I've had with me for a few weeks now. This is a vintage Cleo Skribent. I've given you close-ups before, so we'll just give it a cursory look. Well, maybe we'll do more than a cursory look at the nib. Come on. I have this fancy camera here. It's supposed to do quite good close-ups. Okay, need to work on how to do close-ups. So anyway, this is a Cleo Skribent. I've done a video on a modern Cleo Skribent, never on the vintage. I want to learn more about the company, but the modern one and the vintage one are very much alike. The ink in this is Atramentis Violet, which turns out to be a very nice shade of violet. Atramentis inks, of course, have their little quirks like all manufacturers. I tend to find Atramentis spread a bit, but in a drier pen like this one, that can actually be a feature rather than a bug. Alrighty, my next pen is kind of a fun one. I fell in lust when I first saw it for sale and had to have it. It's the Conklin word gauge. This word gauge is a silly, silly gimmick. Come on. There we go. Oh, well, had it there. So it's a silly gimmick. You know, this is how many words you have left in the pen. You know, whatever. But something about how it looks just appealed to me. It has a ordinary Conklin nib. I think this is a medium. Yep, there's an M on it. Well, let's just see how it writes. Okay, I'll just be honest. I am not 100% sure what ink that is. I didn't write it down, but I think I know. I'm pretty sure, because it just about has to be, because I'm working on using up inks. I'm pretty sure this is Herbin Bleu Myosotis. EU, not UE. It looks different. You know, even compared to the last time I wrote with this pen. So I'm wondering, did I do a bad job cleaning it last time and it just soaked something loose? I'm not 100% sure. This actually looks a lot closer to what I expected this ink to be when I bought the bottle. So it's hard to be too upset. Alrighty, this pen is about to be empty, but we got another week or two with it. This is my Geha Champion, and filled with a platinum converter, which I did not know was a thing until one of you told me that. And now my Geha pens, it's like they're opened up to me. So expect to see more Geha in the next little while. Because I'm pretty pumped that I can refill these pens using a converter now. I have, you know, a couple that are piston fillers, but these converters, I had always read about using, cross converters. I even bought a Geha pen, and the retailer included a bunch of cross cartridges in it, which didn't really work at all. And yet here, I'll just show you this platinum converter. Oh, I actually have more ink in here than I thought. This platinum converter has worked perfectly for a couple weeks now. So, I'm pumped about that. My next pen is the Sailor 1911. This is, I can't remember if it's called standard or small. Whatever S stands for. Whoops. Okay, well, anyway, I kind of have a not great relationship with Sailor pens. I've sold all but this one. So this has a 14 karat nib. I've had a commenter asking me if I feel like the 21 karat nibs are delicate. And I did have one. I had a Sailor Realo. And it had a 21 karat nib. I didn't think it was delicate. Whoops, this is a zoom nib, not a medium nib. I didn't think it felt delicate, but that was just me. This, of course, is a 14 karat nib. It definitely doesn't feel delicate. I'm kind of curious. I was reading somewhere recently about some of the pen retailers are switching to 14 karat gold nibs instead of 18 karat gold nibs because of the price of gold. Will Sailor follow suit with their 21 karat gold nib? And what's the advantage of a 21 karat gold nib over a 18 karat or 14 karat or, God forbid, a 10 karat? Yes, I have a pen with a 10 karat gold nib. I just don't know. I guess I'm not enough of a connoisseur to know the difference. My next pen... Oh, boy, it's really hard to grab. There we go. My next pen is a pocket pen. It's a Platinum Mini. I've been inking it up, or I've been using it for a couple weeks now. It's a lot of fun on legal paper, actually, as it turns out. I've heard it accused of having hard starts, and sometimes it has shown that. But I did a whole bunch of writing with it the other day, and it's been very well behaved since then. So I don't know if it's like, no, don't write with me that much anymore, or what the deal is. But anyway, it seems to be behaving. So this is Akkerman, Groenmarkt, Smaragd, which is basically greengrocer. Whoops. Greengrocer green. I'm not lucky enough to live in a place big enough to have a greengrocer. I have a grocery store. So, I can't speak to the authenticity of the color. It's an okay green, but it's not one I'm just going to be desperate to replace when I use up this bottle, which is one of my bottles I'm trying to use up. Because, yeah, it's a never-ending process, it seems like. Not much Omas black left. Oh, what do I got for this Groenmarkt Smaragd? Oh, this is how much Bleu Myosotis I have left, so it'll be a while, but the end is in sight. Same thing with this Groenmarkt Smaragd. Getting there. There's a lot of ink in some of these bottles. And when you're trying to use them up, you really notice it. Okay, so I did a video on a Rytec recently. It's a fountain pen. It's retractable. This is a retractable platinum Curidas. Not as refined as the Lamy or Pilot version. but it's probably my favorite of my retractable pens that I've used. I've been kind of impressed by the Rytac also. I think I'm allowed to put it in pens in use now, because I've released a video. So this is a Platinum Curidas. We have a fine nib in it, and the ink in it is Lamy. Pretty sure it's Lamy. Lamy Turquoise. So running, I think I have one more bottle of turquoise ink. It's a sailor of some kind, and then I am free of turquoise. Because, yeah, I am trying to use up ink. It's been good the past few years. I haven't bought any ink. I really haven't felt any hunger to buy ink, and it's been a good exercise to see them used up. And, you know, it's like a victory when I just used up another bottle of ink. Pretty soon here, I'm going to be switching my black ink to this Delta. There's the label. So I'm hoping to finish the school year using up Delta black ink. And then I got to look and see what else is left in the black. Just for giggles and snorts, I tried putting this into a pen. And it clogged almost right away. So I remember that about this ink. So I haven't quite talked myself into tossing it, but I'm close. And then I had an adventure with stuff in the bottle with another Noodler's, and now I'm nervous. Is there stuff in the bottle with this? And I don't know. And I guess I've had it long enough and it's cheap enough. I guess I can just toss it. Better safe than sorry. And it's not like I'm hurting for black ink, so I may just be tossing 2 bottles of ink here. But anyway, those are the pens and inks I've been using this week. And it's the end of February already. Tomorrow is March. So how about that? This time of year, it always seems like such a long time, and we're there. So those are the fountain pens and inks I've been using this week. It's been a warm week. So last week I got to see a 60-degree change in temperature. And I'm sorry to all of those of you on a more rational measurement system. But in the Fahrenheit world, we went from about minus 30 to positive 30 in a week. And I've even seen the 40s this week. So, yeah, things are looking up. The snow, except for where it was piled or well shaded, is gone. There is a lot of ice. Like, I've been trying to walk and run in the mornings, and I'm still doing that inside the school because the first day the warm weather came, I was good. I walked down to the school, did my walk-run thing, because I'm kind of combining walking and running, because at my age, I'm not just going to dive into running full tilt. And anyway, it was fine. Came home, showered, ate breakfast, all that happy stuff. Went back to school. On the way to school, same path I'd walked earlier that morning at like 4:50 or so. This time it's about 7. And whoop! Down I went. Oh, luckily nothing was broken but my pride, and a pair of pants ripped open and soaked. Because, yeah, it was ice with water on top, because that's what happens when it warms up. So I actually would rather have it super cold than at that point, because that's dangerous to mix water or ice and water. But anyway, other than a bruised pride and a destroyed pair of pants, I was fine. So all's well that ends well, I guess. So, yeah, most of the snow is gone. Usually in this part of North Dakota, that doesn't mean spring is here. It just means, you get a little break before we get a nice spring blizzard. So I'm sure I'll get a nice blizzard for you. But it does mean the end of nice snow footage that I was hoping to get more of. So, yeah, we'll just have to go with what I've got for the rest of winter. And then when does spring start? Does that start in March? March 21st, I want to say. I might be wrong about that, so don't take that as gospel, but we'll go with March 21st. So, when spring gets here, I'll do some more footage. Now that I'm moving on up to 4K video, I gotta redo all my spring footage, darn it. But I'm kind of looking forward to that and looking to try some new things. And I want to find another pretty flax field and maybe film it a day with not so much wind as I filmed it last year. But anyway, warming up here in North Dakota. I need a haircut. I'm probably going to be a week before I get that. So next week, I hope. So my big topic, I danced around a couple of different topics. In fact, last week I was going to have this filmed. And then I got into my topic and writing down ideas. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, way past bedtime, and didn't get Pens and Use filmed. So, I'm filming this early, because I'm doing it more like I'm supposed to with my plans, and luckily a better topic came along, which really fits into this. So, let's just take a look at what happened there, and how I fell into the trap that this set of articles talked about. And I did link to these articles in the video description, so you can see kind of where this all came from. But you may have heard of something called FOMO. And just in case, I got my notes and my glasses. So FOMO is the fear of missing out. So it stands for fear of missing out, an acronym. So fear of missing out would be things like, well, if you have children, perhaps they don't like to go to bed. Why? Well, maybe they're being stubborn little brats, but there's also a fear of, what about what's going to happen after I go to bed? I'm going to miss out on that. Natural instinct a lot of us have. Some of us have it when we're at home and we're thinking about what our friends are doing. We're like, oh, gee, I wish I could be part of that, but I'm missing out. We're always thinking, that we're missing out on things. Oh, I better go to that party because I might miss out on something important or good. That's really not the main topic of the video, but that's the well-known version of this. Now, the same person who came up with the term FOMO, fear of missing out, came up with another one, FOBO, with a B. So FOBO is the fear of better options. Let me roll my chair to the side for a moment. I have a lot of books, and that's a tiny subset of my books. I have a small house, so, keep in mind some architecture. So my bookshelves are scattered amongst a number of rooms, because I don't have a big enough house to have a home library. Instead, I have multiple bookshelves in multiple rooms. But I have a lot of books. I also have a lot of books definitely a minority of them, but I definitely have a fair number of books I have not read. And then you go to start a book, and you're like, let me just grab one here at random. You're like, oh, okay, we'll go with Carl Sagan's Cosmos, which I just looked over and saw Carl Sagan and grabbed it. And I'm already looking at the same shelf, and I see Carl Sagan's The Demon Haunted World, and Carl Sagan... actually, I don't think I've read this one. Dragons of Eden. So when I go to read a book, I don't say I pull this one out, that I might be thinking, oh, what's a better option on my shelf that I might miss out on because I chose this one? What if that other one would be better and I'd get more out of it? I'm just kind of wasting time reading this one. Okay, let's go back a couple of years to younger squirrel. I spent some time applying for jobs, and I had some points in my career where I said, and I've done videos on 2 of them. I want to do another video on another one of these days, but I've had various jobs, and I've thought, oh, I really want out of this. And you're like, okay, well, there's one open there. Maybe I should apply for that. But, oh, wait, what if something better comes along over here? I don't want to miss out on that because I took this first opportunity. What if my dream job, what my notes say, what if my dream job appears after I take this offer? If you've ever shopped for clothing online, that can be a problem. Like, oh, that's a nice white shirt. Oh, that's a nice white shirt. Oh, I like that one better. Oh, there's another one. Wait, what if the white shirt I really want is on the next page? Or from this other retailer? That's what FOBO is. It's a fear of a better offer. So when we're talking FOBO, what it really comes from is having too many options. So you're spoiled for choice. And one of the ways that I read it expressed in these articles I was reading was the grass is always greener. And I live in a ranching area. I have seen plenty of cows sticking their heads in between the barbed wire fence, trying to chew on that grass that's just on the other side of that fence, putting themselves in all kinds of awkward contortions to do that. Why? Is it really that better? No cows have pooped over here, man. Well, okay, there is that. But that deer was sure pooping there earlier. So, that's actually one of the joys, dubious joys sometimes, but joys of small town shopping is my very small town. I don't have a lot of shopping options, and even when I go to the store in my small town, there's not a lot of choices. So I'm not going to get paralyzed thinking, oh, where should I eat out tonight? Should I eat here or here? If I eat here, I'm definitely going to miss out on what they're having there. No, because I don't have that many choices of places to eat out at. In fact, Cafe Squirrel is usually the best place to eat in my town. During the pandemic and lockdown, I started eating mostly my own food. Didn't want to start going to restaurants after it ended. And when I did start, I found out that there's too many restaurants that I come away from them feeling really funny in my tummy. Yeah. But, I can see where if you're in Bismarck, which isn't that big really, you might be a bit paralyzed about where to eat. I usually, when I stay in a city, it's going to be limited to where I can walk to, which definitely helps cut down on the choices. And hey, that puts me in that small town thing where I have limited choices. So, with this fear of a best offer, my suggestion is that it does tend to paralyze us sometimes. We'll avoid making a decision because what if somebody better comes along to date? What if a better house comes along? What if instead of buying this house, what if I would have waited a few more months? Might have found something better. Well, you know what? This is the horse I rode, so I'm going to learn to work with it. And that's pretty much how I view a lot of those things. Okay, so my camera shut off sometime during that, but I wanted to close this by circling it back to the main topic of the channel, which is fountain pens. Why do so many of us have so many fountain pens? Because if you're watching this, I'm going to guess you're into... A lot of you, I would guess, have more than one fountain pen. Why is that? A lot of us will talk about the Grail fountain pen. I have found the holy grail of fountain pens. That's a whole, the grass is always greener. I'll tell you what I'm looking for right now. And just, I'm being crazy here. You know it. I own two Nikaya fountain pens. I own a Decapod Twist and a Neo Standard Writer. I also own a Platinum Izumo. Those are my three most expensive pens. I have one or two pens that are worth more than that, but didn't pay more than that for them. And am I happy with those? No! What have I wanted the last year or so? A dragon fountain pen. Not just any dragon. I don't want a European dragon. I want an Asian dragon. Chinese dragon type. You know, the friendly ones, the spirit ones that help with the weather or crops or whatever. I think they're cool. And Nakia has one. It's called the Ascending Dragon. And it even has a finish, which I've forgotten the name of the color, but it's blue. And it just looks so cool. Yeah. Do I have enough Nakias? Do I have enough fountain pens? Yes. Do I want more? Yes. Do I feel like maybe I shouldn't have bought that Neo Standard Writer and just saved my money and bought this one? Maybe. So it's always there, and that's part of what this collecting thing is. And I found a lot of it can be cured just by self-discipline, waiting. Well, I've waited more than a year for that pen, and oh, what did I buy instead? This camera where you can just barely see here, that photographs my writing and goes on the road with me. Cost about half, 2/3 of that Ascending Dragon fountain pen that I like. And you know what? I've already used this camera more in the last 2 months than I would probably use that fountain pen in a year. So, you gotta balance. Anyway, to close this off, I just would say make the best choice for the moment. Stop to weigh your options, but don't stop and weigh them for so long that you end up paralyzed. Some point you just got to make a choice. And maybe you can limit your choices either like I do by moving to a small town where there's nothing, or maybe you can eliminate a bunch of your choices saying, nope, 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 nope. And then you're down to just a couple of things. You're like, okay, among the 3 I have left, that one makes the most sense. That's actually what I did when I decided to buy this camera for the channel instead of the fountain pen that I'm lusting after. Who knows? Give me another year or 2. I have been good for a while, so the fountain pen advertising money from YouTube is building up in my bank account. I may splurge on something crazy because this camera is just fine. I have no reason to replace it. So, we'll see what the future holds. But anyway, something to think about, that fear of best offer. Don't be afraid to make a decision. Don't let it paralyze you. So, if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. Hey, have you been paralyzed by that fear of a best offer? Have you ever taken a choice and later said, "Ooh, shouldn't have done that. Should have waited for that best offer"? They both happen. It goes both ways. Let us know down in the comments. Don't share anything too personal. I definitely was careful with what I shared there. Anyway, and I am going to send you out with a little bit of a snow scene. I haven't decided which exact road I want to put you on, but we're going to drive in the snow here. But I'm running out of snow roads because this guy doesn't drive in the snow very often if he doesn't have to, because this guy, that's how he has a 25-year-old car, because he doesn't take risks with it. So anyway, the bread is done. It's been baking while I've been talking, so I think that's a sign I better wrap this up. So thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later.